Adventures of Sonic Episode 32, Momma Robotnik's Return. Oh great, excellent, they had an original character return, and it's the best possible one. Why can't the show do that more often? Below a castle, we see someone break out of a house through the front door and escape with spotlights and alarms going off. Somehow. Someone shows up in a vehicle offering milk, and Momma Robotnik says she wants his hover truck. So, did she have a gun? So hover trucks are a normal thing in this world. Robotnik wants to go use a microwave tower to control every machine on the planet. Why didn't he do this earlier? He could have taken over the world with this. Robotnik saying that Sonic couldn't possibly know where they are only makes the fact that Sonic is here ridiculous. How could he know where he is? Robotnik goes into a vehicle, making it rise up and shoot fire. Sonic jumps off the tower and gets a disguise out of nowhere and shoots air into a tire to destroy it with a pump he shouldn't have. This is never a satisfying victory. How did he do that? Momma Robotnik insults Robotnik and grabs his ear, bringing him into the hover truck and back to his lab. She clears off the desk and she says that Robotnik is a worthless piece of trash who has to go. Grounder, for some reason, thinks she's sweet. Apparently, her friends are constantly asking her when her son is going to get rid of Sonic. Why? Why? Are they all evil? What are the chances of that? Robotnik says that a computer broadcasts a beam to the microwave tower, and Sonic didn't notice that the transmitter is still connected to the microwave array, so he just has to turn it on. Robotnik begs his mother to let him stay, but thankfully she kicks him out instead, serving a different function than last time. She's also smart enough to kick out Scratch and Grounder, and only now has she disowned him. Why does she want to kill Sonic though? What does she have to gain from it? Surprisingly though, Momma puts her arms around Scratch and Grounder in a hug, calling them her boys. That's easy for them. That's a complete 180. Aw, that's sweet. She tells Coconut that he's on the team and grabs his hand, but it's too good to be true because he's thrown into sewer patrol because the writer hates him. That was sweet though. She was nice to Scratch and Grounder, but she should have kicked them out instead of ensuring her defeat by having them around. You'd think that if she was so mean to her own son, she would have no problem being mean to his most worthless, incompetent robots. Idiots! Sonic tells Tails that the sign says it's a no-fly zone, and for some reason Tails says that sign's just for kids and he's a pro, even though he's a kid and should know that. For no reason, he flies into a tree and falls into the river. Tails would not be that bad at flying. If Tails was real and he was any other one than this one, he'd be furious with this show. Sonic is given a paper summoning him to a judge, and Sonic says he doesn't want to be adopted. Unrealistically, the judge says there's no laughing in his courtroom. I guess it would be realistic for a judge to say order in the court, but he doesn't say that. He just sounds cartoonishly evil. He approves Sonic being adopted. However, it's by Momma Robotnik. I'm impressed that Sonic recognized her since she was wearing sunglasses over her eyes, and the way this show works, you'd think he wouldn't recognize her. I guess she forced the judge into agreeing to this unfit parent. I mean, or maybe they are fooled by her disguise. Sonic remembers that he taught Tails to agree to the law, and since he doesn't want to look like a hypocrite, he agrees to put up with this. But stupidly, the judge refuses to even look out the window at Tails when that wouldn't be much effort to do at all. I hope this guy gets fired. Although it is kind of weird in retrospect that Sonic hasn't been adopted by now, because he's a teenager and he doesn't have anyone looking after him.
Somebody wants to adopt me?
I guess it's inevitable this would have come up, but it never comes up in any other continuity. And you'd think the people trying to become parents would have a rigorous test, and that test wouldn't be able to be completed by Momma Robotnik. She just escaped from not prison. Impressively, the annoying judge sent someone to inspect Momma Robotnik, and she says she'll want to check on Sonic's progress now and then. Not that it accomplished anything. Scratch and Grounder threatens Sonic and he wraps a cloth around his head. Scratch jumps into the wall after trying to grab him, and Sonic creates a tornado around Grounder. This kind of made me sad to see, since technically Sonic is in the position of their new adoptive brother, and yet they still hate each other just as much. Then Sonic is shown footage of Tails, who is being threatened with falling through a trapdoor to his death. And of course he'd only be able to fly for so long, so flying wouldn't save him for long. Sonic is shown a nice bedroom, which was just there to impress the social worker, as a lever is pulled to make it a dungeon instead. You'd think it would take more work and money and resources to make there be both a dungeon and a nice bedroom, since you'd have to basically make 2 rooms. But I guess she's so dedicated to being evil that she has no problem with exerting the extra effort to have a dungeon too. Since Sonic proved he can spin dash through a solid metal door, there's no reason he shouldn't be able to escape and spin dash through all of the walls to save Tails. Sonic washes a statue of Eggman, and then he's told to scrub the floor, wash a bunch of stuff like windows, cook, and make her bed. If Momma Robotnik was remotely smart, she would have killed Sonic by now. You know, cause he's her biggest enemy, and having him in the building, you'd think that would be considered a risk to her plans, even if he is being threatened. Because he can move at the speed of sound, he could spoil her plans really quickly. I don't know, I guess there's no way he can get to Tails. Grounder was sent to Sonic to give him a bad time, and he gets kicked out of the window and falls to the ground. She wants Sonic to clean the window, but she also sent someone to make it harder for him to clean the window? That's stupid. Did she want the window cleaned or not? How did Momma Robotnik know that Sonic was talking to Tails? I like that Tails realistically looks miserable in there. Coconuts finds Robotnik in the sewers, and Robotnik says she's trying to take over Mobius. He says he'll put Coconuts in charge of Scratch and Grounder if he helps him out. I really wish he wasn't lying to Coconuts here, because maybe he should be in charge of them. Not that it would make a difference. I mean, it's not like he's phenomenally more competent than them, but still. Sonic says he's already cleaned all of the rooms in the house, and Scratch tells him that they don't have any chili dogs, even though Robotnik gave him one in the last episode. Sonic is made to clean some moving bolts. He cheers for more speed, and Scratch increases the speed of the moving hammers. This sends him onto a conveyor belt, and an explosion happens with him being reduced to a cube with legs. If Scratch and Grounder weren't victimizing Sonic, I'd see Sonic as a bully to them, since he's supposed to be in an adoptive brother situation right now. But instead, they deserve this. Although, to be fair, they're being told to do this by Momma Robotnik, who sees some civilians panicking from a camera. Sonic brings the robots to her in a wheelbarrow. Why does he get himself in trouble like this? I mean, I guess he knows he can't hide what he did, but you'd think she would punish him. You'd think he'd know that. Momma Robotnik presses a button to threaten Tails, and then the social worker says she came in at a bad time. How can she possibly not figure things out? She clearly is in front of someone with black and red eyes, and she sees Robotnik. She should have figured things out instantly. Robotnik tells the social worker that his mother disowned him, and this makes the social worker turn on her. According to the law, no one who disowns a child can ever adopt one. I hope that's a law in real life, because that makes sense, because you're evil enough to disown a child. Why would you be trusted with another one? Though maybe you'd have a good reason, but still. Sonic takes away Robotnik's mustache and puts it on the mother, and she yells at Robotnik for calling up the social worker. What took the social worker so long? Well, actually, I'm not familiar with the schedules of social workers, but I have a feeling that they would take longer than this to check up on the adopted kid's progress. So if anything, I'm surprised she showed up that quickly. It's like she was called in. That's the only explanation, because otherwise she would have taken longer to show up. She says that she's going back to police work because it's somehow safer, even though this is just one weird situation. Sonic uses a spin dash to free Tails, and some fire chases away the bad guys. Why is the mustache sticking on Momma Robotnik anyways? Sonic didn't have access to glue. Then the social worker van shows up, and the people in there chase after Robotnik's mother. Well, social worker van for lack of a better word. Robotnik gets mad at Scratch and Grounder, smacking them into each other. In the Sonic Says message, Tails wonders what the judge is going to do to him for flying in a no-fly zone even though he's one of the heroes of the world. The only way that the judge would have found out about Tails doing that is if Sonic ratted him out like a traitor, because he's the only one who witnessed him doing that. Anyways, let's ignore that, because apparently this Sonic Says is telling us that betraying your friends is perfectly fine and has no consequences whatsoever. Sonic arbitrarily thinks the judge will be fair after what happened in this episode, and Tails is forbidden from flying for a whole month even though he's a hero who probably needs to fly to avoid traps and help Sonic and stay alive in general and help Sonic stay alive. And this absolute bullshit is supposed to convince the audience to support such bonkers laws. What stupid padding! This is the worst way to try to get the audience in favor of this message ever. This episode has Momma Robotnik take over Robotnik's fortress. I'm not sure why she didn't do this earlier, or do this in the first place, if she's like this. Not as much came from it as I was hoping in the She Does Evil Things department, as she mostly just targets Sonic, interestingly using him as a slave to do all her housework. She just carries out on Robotnik's plan that he was doing already. I don't understand why she accepted Scratch and Grounder being around her though, because she should know how incompetent they are. She would have looked smarter by not having them around. I like that the social worker was actually used as a Chekhov's gun against the mother. But ultimately all she did was annul the adoption, while Sonic used Grounder, luring him to shoot lasers at the supercomputer and make it blow up. So really she should have just had them both dismantled. Sonic wasn't more than enough of a servant for her with his super speed. She would have worked perfectly as a dangerously genre-savvy, smarter than Eggman villain, like the eviler than thou type, because that's what they're trying to go for with her. She's worse than Robotnik, apparently. You'd think she'd be more genre-savvy instead of making the same exact mistakes. But apparently we gotta keep Scratch and Grounder in the show.